Then it kind of comes up, across the top, across the top, across the top, across the top, and then it starts to stop right there, and it comes down at a fairly steep angle, but not straight down.
There you go. That's the car. It's difficult for me to understand how you'd have such a spatial sense of a wall or a car of exactly that shape, but not a visual thing that you're putting in that space at the same time. So I suppose
you might think of it like being in a choir or in an orchestra or near a performance where you have many, many, many things going on all at one time. And if you're listening, you really have that sense of surrounding, of sound surrounding you. And so what I often tell people is that the world is really like a living symphony. Every sound made in the world and every texture presented in the world carries its own meaning. This car, in a sense, is kind of like an instrument, except that instead of making its own sound, it's reflecting sounds that I'm making.
It's been an extraordinary afternoon spending time with you. Thank you so much for coming along and sharing your wisdom and your expertise with us. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you very much.
Daniel's skills are real, remarkable, and appear to be magic. And if the remote viewing experiment works tonight here and across Britain, it is down to a combination of all of the things that I've shown you this evening. Now it's time to look at the results. Here we go. I've got the two adjudicators here with me. Now, you were looking after the table with all the pictures from the last week in the glass box. You were looking after the ones from the people here tonight. So, I'll start with you because you've already shown us a few of the ones that were coming up overall.
Yeah, we had over 1,000 drawings.
Yes.
And most popular was at 35%. We had about 35% concentric circles. And then after that, about 10% of Stonehenge drawings.
35% is actually a huge amount.
Massive.
Bear in mind people could draw anything.
Yes.
Well, that's okay. That's remarkable. So that's people for the last week. How did it go in this lot from people here tonight?
We actually had similar things. We had 91 entries tonight.
Yes.
And 30% of them were concentric circles again.
So concentric circles is by far the most popular.
Yeah.
With an amazing 30%, give or take. You were a little bit more, 35%. Excellent. Well, thank you both. It is extraordinary so far. Just to remind you, of course, at home, that Katie can't hear any of this. She's got no idea what's been going on here in this room. So the question is, of course, what have you drawn at home? So please have a look back through your drawings. Have you drawn concentric circles as well? And if you have, text us events, then your message and your name and town to 84444. But of course, all of this means nothing until we see what image Katie has drawn. So after the break, that is exactly what we're going to do. Weeks ago, Katie drew a picture in secret at her home with no one else around. She wrapped it up securely and hung it here in the Science Museum, one of the most secure venues in the country. The picture has been guarded and surrounded by the museum's 24-hour security cameras. It is sealed up, no one could have tampered with it, and Katie has not told a soul what it is. Now, I've asked people here, visitors to the gallery, and you at home to draw what you think it is, and we have had the same drawing come up again and again here, concentric circles. So let's talk to Katie now. Katie, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Darren.
Fantastic. Now, you haven't been hearing what's been going on, not really up to this point, have you?
Not at all, no.
Not at all. Well, listen, Katie, we've had the same drawing come up again and again and again. Now, I'm going to tell you what it is, but I don't want you to react. Okay? It might be right or wrong. What I do want you to do, though, is just to quietly in your head think about whether or not it relates to what it was that you drew. We're not expecting this to be an exact match or an exact description of what you drew, but hopefully it will relate to it in some way. Does that make sense to you, first of all?
Yep, it does.
Okay, but please don't react, don't give anything away as to whether or not you think this is right or not. But what almost 30% of people have drawn is a set of concentric circles over and over again. Okay? You heard that?
Yep, heard that.
With that in mind, we are now going to undo your painting, and these people here are going to find out, and people at home are going to find out for the first time what it is that you actually drew. So, let's do it. Michael, can you open the painting for us? Let's have a look. Michael is removing the barrier, making his way to the painting. Can you reach up there, Michael? Let's see what Katie drew. First things first, can you just verify what it was that you drew, Katie?
I drew 3 concentric circles.
3 concentric circles, and I think you signed it as well. How did you sign it?
With a KM.
KM, you initialed it at the side. Can I ask you, as you were sat there thinking of this, you did a great job. It obviously worked. Whatever you were doing was fine. What were you thinking in your mind? Were you just picturing them as circles? Were you turning them into various pictures? What were you sort of picturing?
A target, Stonehenge, which what the little dashes were on my picture.
What? Stonehenge?
Yeah, absolutely, Stonehenge.
Viewed from above, presumably?
Yeah, viewed from above with the little sort of dashes of the stones.
Well, everybody here, I don't know what everyone here is thinking, but the most popular drawn thing was concentric circles. That was 30%. About 10% of people drew Stonehenge.
Ooh.
Katie, this has been extraordinary. I think it's been a great success, but thank you, Katie. Thank you so very much indeed. A round of applause for Katie.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Extraordinary. Now, thank you for taking part. Now, you should be able to now see on the screen results coming in from viewers at home. And if this has worked, a lot of them should be saying concentric circles. I don't know if that's worked, because we're recording this about 3 weeks before this show goes out. So now that I know Katie has drawn concentric circles, I now have plenty of time to persuade you at home to do the same thing. So I'm going to put into every major daily newspaper on the 25th of September a tiny advert telling you to draw concentric circles. And today, as you're watching this show, if you flick through your newspaper, you will have unconsciously picked up on that instruction. On the screen now, we'll be showing you the papers and the pages in those papers where I will place the instruction in the form of a small classified ad. If you've drawn anything resembling concentric circles tonight, now you know why. Now, as for why so many people here got it, who knows? And as for what you might have imagined those concentric circles to be, well, that's up to you. Katie pictured them as Stonehenge, and loads of people here, amazingly, did pick up on Stonehenge too. Now, maybe that is just a bizarre coincidence. I'm going to leave that to you to decide. Thank you for taking part. Katie, I'm sorry, you still don't even know where you are, do you?
Nope, not at all.
No, well, you can come out now. Thank you so much. You can come out and get some fresh air.
Stonehenge.